I'm back at home from the summer camp and I think it was a steaming pile of garbage. Firstly, because I don't like alcohol, secondly, because I don't smoke cigarettes, and thirdly, because I don't like marijuana or any other drugs. And all of those things you could find there. The restrooms were absolutely trash. I mean, on the last day, they didn't even work. And on all the previous days, 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 6 wouldn't work at all. And then it got worse. There was always a layer of water in the restrooms for some inexplicable reason. And it was just bad. Outright bad. I mean, this was a party simulator. It wasn't a camp, it was a party simulator. And I'm disappointed because I thought it would be a camp and not a party simulator. I guess I misunderstood the text part where it said, hey, this is a camp. When what they really meant was, hey, this is a party simulator. Because every day there was a party in the tent. And unfortunately enough, we got a tent that was, 30 meters away from the party tent. And when they played music in the tent, they played it on a so loud level that it resonated the windows within where we were. Fuck, I'll just look up the word where we were. Anyway, aside from that, if you wanted to sleep or fall asleep before midnight, absolutely no luck unless you're used to falling asleep with super loud music banging on the door and the windows. Oh, shack or cottage. Okay. That's where we were. So if you wanted to fall asleep before midnight, that was a no-no. If you wanted to fall asleep after midnight, that was a no-no as well. If you wanted to fall asleep around 5 in the morning, maybe, because by then the music started to get less loud. But not on every day. Sometimes it would get less loud on like 3 in the morning. Or 4 in the morning. And if you wanted to sleep over the day, guess what? The camp was right next to a military airbase. Or military airfield. So, pretty... Those were some pretty loud aircraft. Or, yeah. And aside from that, the food was so-so. It was mediocre at best. And there were issues with it. It's like one day we waited 40... No, that wasn't 40. In the end, it was like 52 minutes to even get the food. The next day after, the lunch was swapped with dinner and we had to wait 20 minutes extra for both. It's like... It was only great if you were there to party, because that's the only thing that worked flawlessly in there. That was the only thing. Everything else had flaws. I mean, for fuck's sake, the cabin we were in, quote unquote cabin, the front wall, which had the door and windows in it, wasn't even a wall. It wasn't connected to the roof, for fuck's sake. There were newspaper that were supposed to cover the hole. To be fair, the hole wasn't that wide. It was only like 2 centimeters. But how do you call it a fucking cabin if the front wall doesn't work as a wall? Although everything bad was good for something. And I say bad because I think that was bad. All of that which I just named. Or said. Despite having the cabin that was not the closest, but it was really close to the tent, we had a good viewpoint, or view location, onto anything that was happening in the camp. Because the cabin was rotated towards the center of the camp and towards the party tent. On some days there were... Well, I maybe will sound like a creep, but remember, I don't have a girlfriend. I probably never will, and I never had. So on some days, there were girls doing things, and it was interesting to watch, to say the least. On other days, there was jack shit happening. But I stared at the center anyway because, there was always someone swimming or doing things. I could watch them and think. And about the girls I was watching, and I enjoyed it, but whatever. Now, what else did I want to mention? I think that's about it. It was just a steaming pile of garbage. I wouldn't go there again. I mean, if I did drink, if I did smoke, and if I liked drugs, this would have been, I would have gotten back more than I paid for. It cost 2,500 crowns or 2,700. Let me look it up for you how much money it is in dollars or euros. Let's have a look. No. 50, no. 100. Oh, whoops. Yeah, it's about 100 euros. 100 euros for this. It lasted for 4 days. And if you rewind the video and re-listen to what I had to say about the camp in general, in the terms of the food and, or rather the meals and the restrooms and such, I don't know what are the costs in your country, but in this country that's fucking overpriced. But back to what I wanted to say. If I did drink, smoke and everything, I would have gotten back more than I paid for, because those that drank, there was alcohol everywhere. It was even being handed out by the so-called instructors, which really were students who just organized this. Cigarettes, the same. You could get like 2 packets of cigarettes for free, including a lighter, if you went into the party tent, which I never did. Other than one occasion, but that's because there was a quiz and the other 5 whom I was with in the cabin wanted, last person to fill the team. And drugs, I don't know. There were some people going around with marijuana. On 2 occasions I heard someone talk about something which I later learned was probably like, let me look it up if I'm correct. Actually, I don't know, but I had a suspicion of what drug it was, but I forgot, and I don't want to make accusations. I mean, it's not like I'm giving any names, but... oh well. So it was, in my opinion, it was bad, it was not worth it, I wouldn't repeat it. So anyway, that's a report on how the 4 days went. I'm back, and those are 4 days I'll never get back. Although, for all bad that's happened there, it had some fruits, but I had to look for them really, really hard. One of the fruits was, I got some insight onto how the others, because I think I wouldn't say special, but I think I'm an exception in this generation, because I don't like alcohol, I don't like cigarettes, I don't like any drugs. It was interesting to listen to young males and females talk about how drugs opened their eyes, and I sort of felt like Jordan Peterson, although, and I would want to question Jordan Peterson someday and talk with him and have a conversation, although I think I would get stomped because, he's much older than me, he knows much more, and whatever. So I listened to young males and females talk about the drugs, talk about how this is beautiful, how that is beautiful. We even disagreed politically. I expected no less than that, because I think that if someone has a completely different lifestyle, I don't think it inherently means, like, it necessarily means that you will have different political views. But when I wanted to get them to talk about why they chose who they chose in the presidential election, for example, I gave them an argument, and they could wrap their head around it. They could think about it. They could do with the argument whatever they wanted. But when I asked for an argument, they didn't give me one. They just said, our president, which we currently have, is famous for drinking, for an illness, presumably. I haven't done any research, so I can only say what I know is known amongst the general public. and for saying a cunt here, a cunt there. Now those are the, well, actually 2 words, 4 words, or 5 words. A cunt here, a cunt. Okay, 6 words. And when I gave them an argument that I picked him because he had great opinions and he could conversate without insulting the opposition, and he could communicate his point without being aggressive, which the other candidate failed to do. There was the last debate, and when he was questioned, he just didn't answer the point. He said, well, I think that what the other candidate did was wrong, and he was just always going away from the point. Whereas the other candidate, the one I voted for, which I think represents Czech Republic far better, because A, he is typical Czech person, and B, his views are great. And the argument they gave me for why they voted for the person which just kept attacking the other candidate was, so what? We should have voted for a guy that says a cunt here, a cunt there. It's like, they're so blindfolded. Instead of, and also hypocritical, but I'll get on that in a moment. It's like, instead of a person which has great, well, in my opinion, I know opinions vary, but instead of a person that communicates their views without insulting anyone and provokes thought and allows you to see into what they're thinking, they would much rather have a corporate, well, let's not get into any name calling. They would much rather have a person that just keeps on repeating the same words and keeps on attacking the opposition and doesn't ever let you see on the way they think. And this is where I stopped with the corporate, because I think he was just a corporate doll. He was just there to do things that companies would tell him to do, or other politicians and such. But these people, they said they wouldn't vote for a vulgar person, like the president we have now, but when you listen to them talk, they swear all the time. Literally. Whenever I was around them, or they were around me, swearing was all they did. With exceptions of jokes. But they didn't even have to be drunk. And then they say they don't want to vote for a vulgar person? Really? It's like, are you listening to yourself? Ever? And then, so, I couldn't get them to answer a simple question. Like, can you give me a reason why you voted for this person? And it wasn't just on this. There was an incident of when a young male and a young female talked in front of the cabin, because the cabins had, some sort of a porch. I think that's the word for it. Is it really? Hold up. Porch. Yeah. Some sort of porch. Front porch. And they talked about things. It was, I think they were drunk to some degree, but not that much. They could communicate to each other. And the topic came around, they discussed multiple things, sexuality and whatever. And the young male said, he started to go on a rant about how everything is unjust. That, why do I like this girl? Why do I think she's pretty? Why do I not like this girl? Why do I think she looks bad? Why do I think she's ugly? And I at that point I just went out of the bed. I was in the bed at that time. I went out of the bed and I said, look, it's genetics. You're preset to like someone and you're preset to not like someone. But if you think they're ugly, someone else might think they look good. So you're not doing them any injustice. You're just picking. You're just making a choice. And also, if you think someone looks good and you go up to them and you ask them if they want to live with you, they might say no. So, it's just a matter of choice. And what he said was, no, fuck that. He said, I force myself to like the ugly girls as well. I'm just like, why? You should always strive for better. If you think she looks bad, then just don't force yourself to like her. Just look for a girl you will like physically and mentally as well. He's like, no, fuck that. I'm just gonna like everyone. I'm just gonna like the whole world. And I'm like, come on, dude. You can't be serious. And he was. The topic then came around of what do you want to do in the future? And he said, I want to help others. And earlier on, he said that he's fucked up and that he doesn't want to, solve himself. And I asked him, how do you want to help others if you don't help yourself first? And if you help yourself, you know what the process of when someone helps you, how you change. Or just, I wanted him to answer why does he want to help others if he doesn't help himself, because he was also ignorant of facts. That all of this is just my opinion. And he said, because I don't care, I'm fucked up. And I'm like, if you help others, you will help them in a fucked up way. Or you will help them in a way that maybe won't help them at all. If you help yourself, if you clear your mind, you will then have a much better perspective at helping others. Or how to help others. Or just anything. And he said, no, I won't. And then the discussion came around one more thing. I can't... Damn, I think I forgot it. Damn it. Well, anyway. So I felt like a Jordan Peterson in a sense. But I know Jordan Peterson probably would have explained far better if English was the native language of this country. Because I don't think they would understand him, because their English, I think, was not that great. Well, anyway. So, that's how the camp went. I regret going there, other than this encounter and the thoughts that new perspectives that I got, although I denounced these perspectives, like drugs open your eyes. I mean, for someone it might be the case, but you also know drugs are illegal, right? You're not supposed to get them. Well, in a sense, you could say then you're not supposed to open your eyes, but I think there are other ways to open your eyes. You got traditional medicine, you got acupuncture, you got loads of things. And the one you choose is a drug, the one that makes you feel good. It's like, really, you're not doing it to have your eyes open, you're just doing it to feel good. And there are so many things, so many more things you can do to feel good than drugs. So as I said, it was an interesting, although bad, experience that I would never repeat again. That's it. Now I'll stop this. I'll stop this recording. I'll upload it separately because it reminds me of the Legends of Arcane unintentional info video. And also it's probably that long as well. Let's see, how long is it? 18 minutes 30 seconds. Oh boy. So anyway, that's all from me on where I've been. I also have video footage to back up the claims there was a layer of water. I recorded it on the phone. If someone won't believe me, I'll upload it and I'll post an unlisted link in a reply to your comment. And I also tried to record how loud the music was, but from inside the cabin. And I think, although it resonated the door and the windows, I don't think the mic on the phone picked it up. Because I have a phone that's primarily built or constructed to have a very long battery life and also be durable. So, but anyway, that's all from me on where I've been the past 4 days where I haven't uploaded at all. And I'll see you in the upcoming chapter 2. And I know what you're seeing is chapter 1, but what you're seeing is chapter 1 because I thought there was an item after I finished recording and people confirmed that. So I went back and I checked the map and I found where it was. Also thanks to a comment which said it's on the left near the guards. I did see that ghost, but I didn't think there was anything. I thought that area connected to the main camp, which is then displayed in the final cinematic. That's why I didn't go there. So in the chapter 2, I mean, in the next gameplay video, you'll see where to find the item in case you didn't find it either, and in case you're playing on hard. And then we'll get to play the chapter 2. And if I miss the item in there as well, I'll backtrack and get it. Because, you know, I'm playing on hard. I might as well fucking get items which make it at least a bit easier. And I think these items will make it a lot easier, but hey, they're there. Why not get them? They also take some effort to get to. It's not like they're for free. So anyway, this is the final. That's it. And I'll see you in the next one.